An extremely dangerous winter pattern is locking into place right now. This is not just about what already happened, it is about what comes next, and that is where the real danger begins. A powerful blast of Arctic air is surging deep into the United States, settling in behind a major winter storm that has already left destructive ice, heavy snow, and long-lasting damage across multiple states. While the core storm system is slowly winding down, the impacts are far from over, and for millions of Americans, conditions may actually get worse before they get better. What makes this pattern so concerning is the timing and the persistence. Temperatures are plunging well below seasonal averages, and once this cold locks in, snow and ice will struggle to melt for several days. That means hazardous travel will continue, power restoration will slow, and recovery efforts across much of the southern and eastern United States will face serious challenges. And this Arctic air mass is not transient, it is settling in. Both the European model, the GFS, and the Canadian model are in strong agreement that this cold air remains anchored through the coming days, with only limited moderation. Even more concerning, signals are already emerging for another round of snow chances across parts of the central and eastern United States as we move deeper into next week. This is a major pattern change, and at JetWeatherX, we are breaking down exactly what you need to know, region by region, so you can prepare. Let's begin with the storm that just slammed the country. The most catastrophic impacts were focused across parts of the Mid-South and Southeast, especially around Nashville, Tennessee. Ice accumulation combined with heavy snow caused widespread tree failure, with large trees leaning, splitting, and snapping under the weight. Even mature trees that have stood for decades came down, taking power lines with them. At the height of the storm, nearly 90% of the Nashville metro area was without electricity. This is not a short-term issue. With so many trees down and infrastructure damaged, some outages could last a week or longer, especially with dangerously cold air preventing safe and rapid repairs. Across Mississippi, Tennessee, and parts of Louisiana, freezing rain played a major role. While some areas saw more sleet than expected, which slightly reduced ice accretion, the damage was still severe enough to cripple local power grids. The good news is that the primary storm system is now moving away. Snow and freezing rain are ending across most areas tonight, but not everywhere. In the Northeast, particularly southern New England, snow remains ongoing. A narrow zone of sleet and freezing rain is setting up across Connecticut, Rhode Island, southeastern Massachusetts, and Cape Cod. Untreated roadways in these areas will remain slick through tonight, with travel impacts continuing into early tomorrow. Boston and surrounding communities may still pick up another 12 to 14 inches of snowfall, pushing total accumulations close to 2 feet in some locations. Across upstate New York, northern New England, and Maine, an additional widespread foot of snow is expected before this finally tapers off. By tomorrow, most of the snow shifts offshore, but lake-effect snow will continue across Michigan and western New York, keeping conditions hazardous in localized areas. Now here is where the situation escalates. Behind this storm, an intense Arctic high-pressure system is surging southward, delivering some of the coldest air of the season. Across the southern plains, Midwest, and Ohio Valley, overnight low temperatures will fall into the single digits, 0 range, and even below 0 in some areas. Cities including Dallas, Fort Worth, Oklahoma City, Little Rock, St. Louis, Cincinnati, and Indianapolis will experience dangerously cold conditions, with wind chills dropping to 20 degrees below 0 or colder in the most exposed locations. This cold creates a major secondary hazard. Anything that remains wet will freeze solid. Across parts of Georgia, Alabama, and northern Mississippi, temperatures are expected to fall back below freezing tonight. That means leftover moisture on roads and bridges can turn into a thin but extremely dangerous layer of ice, increasing the risk of accidents even though the main storm has ended. Travel impacts will persist, not because of falling snow, but because the cold refuses to let go. And this is only the beginning of the pattern. As we move into the next 48 hours, the Arctic air mass becomes the dominant feature across the United States. Daytime temperatures across much of Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas may struggle to climb above freezing, significantly slowing snow and ice melt. On Tuesday and Wednesday, conditions do not improve. In fact, the core of the cold remains entrenched. While southern Texas may briefly rise above freezing during the afternoons, large portions of the southern plains and Ohio Valley stay locked in below normal temperatures, keeping roads icy and recovery efforts delayed. The science behind this setup is critical to understand, but it does not need to be complicated. A deep upper-level trough over eastern North America, combined with strong Arctic high pressure, is acting like a wall, trapping cold air near the surface. This prevents warm air from advancing northward and allows cold to linger far longer than usual. And here is the key concern going forward.
Both the European and GFS models are now hinting at another surge of Arctic air late this week into the weekend. This second blast could be even colder, pushing deep into the southeast and Gulf Coast states once again. If moisture returns from the Pacific or the Gulf of Mexico, even in limited amounts, snow chances could redevelop across parts of Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, and possibly portions of the Deep South. Right now, this does not appear to be a major storm, but uncertainty remains high, and even small shifts in track or timing could change impacts. The GFS model is currently showing a narrow corridor of potential snow as south as Louisiana, while the European model remains more conservative. This spread tells us one thing clearly: this pattern is volatile, and updates will be necessary. Meanwhile, across the Northeast and Midwest, lake effect snow continues intermittently, especially downwind of the Great Lakes. While accumulations may be lighter, persistent cold keeps roads slick and conditions dangerous, especially overnight and during early morning hours. In the Pacific Northwest, a separate system brings periods of rain during the middle of the week, with localized flooding possible in low-lying areas. Now let's talk about what matters most: impact and preparation. Extended cold means power usage surges, and in areas already dealing with outages, restoration timelines may stretch even longer. Trees weakened by ice may continue to fall, especially as winds increase later this week. If you are in an affected region, charge devices whenever possible, limit unnecessary travel, stock food and water, check on elderly neighbors and family members, protect exposed pipes from freezing. This is not a one-day event. This is a prolonged winter pattern, and patience will be required. Looking ahead, confidence drops as we approach the end of the week and early next week. Additional systems may develop, and model guidance will continue to evolve. At JetWeatherX, we are watching these trends closely. This is exactly why staying updated matters. Conditions are changing, new data arrives every 6 hours, and small shifts can mean big differences on the ground. If you live in the Plains, Midwest, Southeast, or Northeast, ask yourself this: are you ready if this cold lasts longer than expected? We will continue tracking every development and providing clear, responsible updates as this dangerous winter pattern unfolds. More systems may be ahead, and preparation now can make all the difference. Stay safe, stay informed. This is JetWeatherX.